Am I the asshole for getting a restaurant worker fired?
Ooh.
I, 16 female, and my friend, 16 female, went out to dinner this weekend. We usually go to this restaurant that can get a bit pricey, but has affordable options too. We usually order as cheap as we can and split an appetizer. The check came out to $15 and I just left a $20 bill, so a $5 tip. My friends came out to the same and she left a $3 tip. We paid, left, and started walking through the parking lot to my car. The host, around 60 male, came out of the restaurant and yelled across the parking lot at us. We thought we'd forgotten something, so we turned around to talk to him, but we were kind of sketched out since it was dark outside and there weren't many people in the parking lot. He started raising his voice and getting angry about how we always leave shitty tips and that our waitress has a family to provide for. He told us that we can't afford to eat there if we can't leave a decent tip and kept getting louder and louder as he was talking. I told him that I was sorry, but that I thought our tip was okay, that I didn't realize we should have left more. I told him how much my bill was and how much I left, and he just kept shaking his head. I don't really remember how the conversation ended. I started getting very anxious, and my friend took over talking to him. He ended up going back inside, and we got into my car. Once we got in, I started crying. I know, kind of dumb, but it really freaked me out, and I couldn't stop shaking. I ended up calling my mom. She usually helps me feel better when I'm panicky, and I told her everything that happened. My mom got kind of upset at the whole situation, but helped me calm down and then told us to come home. She told my dad what happened, and by the time we got home, my dad had already called the restaurant and complained. I promise he's usually pretty relaxed and doesn't complain often. He's usually not a Karen. I'm not really sure what all my dad said, but the manager called him the next day and told him that they'd pulled the parking lot cameras, talked to the host, and talked to our waitress, and that they decided to fire the host. My sister, 18 female, keeps calling me and my friend assholes and said that I don't know what the real world is like, and he was an old man that depends on his paycheck. She said that I was being a baby and that I should have tipped more to make up for not ordering an expensive option. I feel really guilty that he got fired and this turned into such a big deal. I also feel guilty that maybe I don't tip enough when I go there and that I inconvenience the waiter and waitresses. I probably wouldn't have told my mom if I'd known it would turn into such a big thing. My parents keep talking about how the host should have known better, that we're teenage girls and that we don't follow people out of the parking lot like he did. And I totally get their point of view, but I feel like I may have been too worked up when I called my mom, causing her to get worked up and made it into a bigger deal than I should have, and my sister was right. Was I an asshole for telling my parents, or an asshole for not leaving a good enough tip? Am I the asshole?
Not in the slightest in any way.
Not the asshole whatsoever. Oh my god, that makes me so upset. And that's coming from a server.
Yeah.
You know, like
there's a law of averages. Some people are going to order a lot and some people aren't.
And a $5 tip on
a $15
is really
bill.
not that bad.
First off, even a $3 tip on a $15 bill, like 15% would be $2.25.
Like, that's not bad at all. Like, I would not be upset with that.
Yeah.
And a grown-ass man running after two 16-year-old
I
girls.
know.
Like, please, listen, coming from a server perspective, obviously, in the States, it's different. I know they get paid, like, nothing. And then they, like, survive off their tips.
Yeah.
It's different for us here. We get paid, like, minimum tips,
but
etc.
But also at the same time, like,
it's not a kid's responsibility to pay your weight. Like,
no, and you choose to have that job.
Yeah. And I just leaving a $5 tip on 15 is really,
that's huge.
and it's a 16-year-old kid. You know what?
What are you supposed to tip?
Sometimes,
$10 on a $15 bill?
Listen. I know servers. I know how servers think, but no, like that guy's such an asshole. And I understand she's 16. She was crying to her parents.
She didn't do anything. She didn't
I don't
call
think she
back
did
or
wrong.
anything.
She's a young kid.
Yeah.
And maybe she didn't want it to blow out of proportion like this, but no, the guy had no right chasing them out of the restaurant. Like, come on.
No.
Sometimes I see young kids come to the restaurant and we look at each other like, oh.
Yeah.
Because young kids, it's, you're young. Like, you were young once. It's not like
Yeah.
you're leaving, like, whatever. So, small story. Yesterday, I had a group of young girls. They were high school girls, I could totally tell. And they were so sweet. They were so nice. Like, literally, they're like, we love your vibe. You're so nice. And, like, they were just being so sweet, And I serve them as I would anybody. I don't care. Like, I serve everybody the same. It doesn't matter.
Yeah.
And they were at my last table, and I'm like, am I going to make money or not? Whatever. Like, that's what you, like, think about. You're like, you're a server. But I'm like, whatever. They're so cute. Regardless if I did or didn't. Like, I was like, whatever. They're sweet girls. They didn't cause me any problems. Whatever. And they all tipped well. And at the end, one of them was leaving. She came up to me and she gave me an extra $10. This is for you. You were so awesome. I'm like, that is so cute. Like, if they were young, do you know what I'm saying? Like, they're teenagers. They probably work part-time jobs or don't work at all. You know, like, and that's so sweet. Just, like, an appreciation thing, you know? Like, and that was just so nice, honestly. Even if they didn't, they were so sweet. They were so nice, so respectful. There are tables, I don't care if you're adults, young, whatever. Yeah. They give you the hardest time, this and that. For what?
I know.
And it's just, like, I just hate that they were, like, at least they, you know, they, in their head, they know, like, oh, we should tip.
Right.
Like, there are some young kids who maybe they don't understand. Like, again, it's nobody's obligation. It's hard coming from a server because there's a whole server community. They'll be like, I don't care if you don't, like, you can't afford to eat out if you don't tip, blah, blah, blah. But, like, just, you have to understand other people's point of view.
I agree.
Also, there's a lot of different people coming from different places who don't understand tip, who just simply like don't believe in it, which is like again, that's your business. I like, again, a $5 tip is not gonna make or break me, like that. But the guy was so wrong to chase after those two girls. 100%. That's like ridiculous. Like, sit down.
I think OP is feeling like a lot of the guilt because she thinks she got him fired, but it wasn't her that got him.
He got himself fired.
He got himself fired.
You don't run after two customers. Like, they did nothing wrong.
You didn't make anything up.
Yeah,
like
no, ridiculous. He did that all by himself. Like,
question though, if you have somebody who doesn't tip you, do you assume that they were angry with your service, or maybe that they were European?
No, I don't think they're angry with my service. Some people just don't tip. Some people don't understand. Like, you know, there's some people who literally were just like, again, European. Like, Europeans sometimes will get like groups of Italian families, and I'm like, don't let the like Italian for you know. But at the end of the day, I'm not gonna be mad. It's just like, oh, damn it. I guess servers, depending on where you work, we have a tip out, right? Like, you know,
you have to share.
So you, a percentage of your sales, regardless if you get
tipped or not,
you have to tip out on that. Yeah, right. I guess that's like why servers are like, oh, I'm not making money off this, blah, blah, yada, yada, yada. For me, at the end of the day, whatever, like, it averages out. Yeah. I'm not working there just for one day. It's like my career. Like, I'm there every single day. Whatever. I really, truly, I always tell my friends, I'm like, I'm such a, like, I really care about my job. I do. I don't care if I work out, like, no, but I love to give people, like, good service. Like, I don't care if I'm, like, a high-end restaurant or, like, a little breakfast spot. But, you know, and I appreciate my customers who do, like, they go above and beyond, you know, here. But
you do the same job for everyone, and everybody tips different.
And exactly. And you know what? Like, at the end of the day, whatever. Like, seriously, it just evens out. You have some great days where you're, like, leaving with, like, $400 in, like, a couple hours, and you have some days you're like, great, I made like 100, whatever, like, honestly, whatever. I'm not gonna chase two 16-year-olds out of a restaurant. I would never in my life, never ever.
The guy was out of his mind.
That reminds me of, like, selling cars, because, like, some of my coworkers be like, why are you going, like, above and beyond for that flat? The flat is like $300 or something like that. Like, why are you trying so hard? You're not making any money on that cheap deal. It's like, I treat every single one of my customers the same. Some customers, I make $300, and some customers I make like $4,000. I treat every single customer the same. I feel like that's the same with tipping.
It's different, like, as service, though, like, sometimes we'll see, like, customers that we know, like, whatever, you know, we look at each other like, okay, go get your $5.
I remember that.
But, like, you know, we just like to joke around. I would never, I honestly really love my customers. I do.
I know, I believe you. My customers. You're so
like,
cute.
I have them on, like, you know, they're, like, calling me. I have them on Instagram. I love my customers. I do, I swear. They make my day fun. You know, we have so many regulars, and
I know
they make it, like, sometimes I look, I'm like, everyone here is like a regular, like, literally.
Do you have any regulars that don't believe in tipping? Bob comes in every Saturday for breakfast and never tips ever.
There are some. Yeah, there are so many who don't. Like, and we know, like,
really.
Yeah, but, like, sometimes they're like, and this one family, I just know, like, it's not in their culture. Like, yeah. Like, they just don't, like, I know, like, it's like my people. Like, and I'm just like, yeah, whatever. But they're so nice. They don't give any problems. They just, whatever. Like, what am I gonna do? Be mad? Like, I don't care. You serve them whatever they go. Like, flip your table and get a new table, and that's to just make money. I know some servers will, like, literally lose their shit. I just personally, I don't care. Like, it is what it is. Seriously, like, this job, knock on wood, so lucky. Some days you're making more than, like, there's so many out there, and it's just like, what did I even do, you know?
I know.
I understand where people come from, being like, why do servers, you know, make so much money? Why do you make this, whatever, but I don't know, it is what it is.
Yeah.
I take my job seriously.
When I worked at Moxie's, I always found it so entertaining, the server huddle of them talking shit on customers.
Oh my God.
Because I'd be a bar back and a food runner, but I'd come by, and sometimes the servers, they might just be like, they have, like, you know, a minute where, like, a bunch of them are just like, they all have a breast. So it's kind of like they're hanging out by the entry machine, and they're all like, yeah, this customer bullshit, didn't tip me anything.
Sometimes it's not even for the tip. Like, some of the customers, what you deal with, you know, like the
Yeah.
restaurant industry is just insane. What I
got-
dealt with as a manager was
I got a
nuts.
server question for you.
Yeah.
What's your tip percentage on your machine set at?
Ours is 15, 18, 20. Because we're not, like, in downtown Toronto.
Yeah.
I know those start at, like,
Bro,
20, 22, 25.
I went to a restaurant one time. It started at 20. And I'm
Yeah.
like, where's the 18% option?
But in ours, you can also do, like, other... Honestly, I really have a lot of good customers who do, like, above and beyond. And go
You deserve
more,
it.
You know?
Hell yeah.
How do you feel when customers tip you the 15%, not the 18%?
I don't think it's normalized in Vaughan, right? Like for
what?
18%?
It depends
Or
where
is
you
it?
go. Like, this is just because I think you can actually set it to differently depending what you want. I just think ours was just set up that way. Like, I
Okay.
think it can literally be changed.
Yeah,
but
people can
just,
change
like,
it.
Even like my boss can just change it.
Yeah.
I think the only thing, like, at my place, which we hate, is we don't have autograt on, like, parties. So like, sometimes it'll be like, again,
I never
to
realized
put it in
that.
perspective for people who don't, like, understand surfing, say you have a party and that's your whole section and they're there for like 2 hours, and say it's like 30 whatever, and the bill's like $500. Say they
Yeah.
tip 0. It's not that common, but sometimes, you know,
Really?
like, if
That'd
they,
be
you know,
huge loss.
and it's like, yeah, you're not making money for the day because they basically took up your whole section. Like, you're not getting
Yeah.
other tables in. Like, you don't serve. Like, that's how it works. I try to tell people it's kind of like sales, you know,
Yeah.
in a sense. Like,
Yeah,
you
kind of
want,
is.
like, your tables, like, you want to rotate your tables because you want to get more people
Yeah.
in so you can make more
More
money.
sales.
Exactly.
You want to sell the whipped cream
Exactly.
on the side of bacon because
You want
the
to
bill goes up.
upsell this and
Yeah,
that.
yeah.
Me, actually, personally, I guess good servers upsell, but I don't like to push people into, like, getting shit that I know. Like, do you want to add this to that? No, like,
Yeah.
if you want it, you'll tell me.
Yeah.
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 It's not like
I feel
places
like it
steak
deters
places,
people
yeah.
more. Like,
And I'm just a simple, like, I work at a breakfast place. If
Yeah.
you work at, like, a steakhouse, you're upselling, like, different wines and stuff like that, I understand, but I would never want to be like, do you want to add this, like, $5 edition for, like, your breakfast? Like,
I know. Like,
You know
what's that
what?
going to do for you?
You
Like,
know?
add $1
you know,
to your
like,
tip?
seriously,
Like,
servers, that's what they do because you get hired. But I'm, like,
yeah.
if they like you, people will give
Yeah,
you,
exactly.
you 100% tip, a 200%. For all the time, here's $50, here's, like, you know, like, people are so nice sometimes, you know, but
I feel like there's
I
a
really look
good
out for customers, I swear.
good balance.
I believe you.
I don't like being upselled on stuff, but sometimes people will like recommend things and I'll be like, yeah, I'll get that. Sometimes servers
Yeah.
will recommend something to me and I'll be like, add it, done.
Yeah.
No, true. It's good recommendations and stuff like that. So it's good, but-
When people ask you at Cora's,
Yeah.
what do you recommend on the menu? What do you say?
Sunshine panini.
Really? Actually,
Sunshine. I
Is
like
that, that's
the
usually what I get.
That's
No,
what
that's my
everyone
favorite.
does, yeah.
Love
Sunshine.
that.
It depends what you want. Seriously, oh my god, I can go on and on about customers. Sometimes, listen, there are so many great people.
I remember I used to drop Treese off at work and I'd like get some takeout to go.
yeah. And I would tell
remember.
the cooks, you know,
yeah.
Give me some extra
I was like,
bacon.
this is my boyfriend. Make it good.
Extra bacon.
There are so many good people. There's also so many stupid customers, obviously. Like,
Yeah. I actually can't
people
remember
like,
any
What should I get?
stories.
What do I want today? I
Yeah.
had somebody say, I want crepes. I'm like, okay, well, it's like on this page. I'm like, do you want salty or sweet? Because we have, you know, you get like a
Yeah.
savory or sweet. I want spicy. I'm like, I didn't ask that. Like, I don't have that. Like, no, I want this. I want that. And I'm giving them so many options. And then at the end, they're like, no, I'll just have, you know, people just asking a billion
Yeah.
and one questions that are like right in front of you. Or it's like they don't care to even look.
Would I be the asshole if the tip machine says 18, 20, 22% and I manually type in 15%?
No, no, I don't. Me personally, asking other servers, I feel like they'd be like, yeah. I don't know, depending on their tip out percentage, what they have at work. But
I don't like
me,
to do
no.
that.
Like,
I do that sometimes.
I don't like to do that. It makes me feel weird.
no, I think you're just like used to it and you're pressured by like what's on the machine. And you
I don't like
feel
Oh,
being
yeah, I get
But like,
pressured.
if you feel like their service was literally so subpar,
Yeah.
as a server, I'm telling you right now, I will always tip. Just
Have you-
because I'm a server.
Yeah.
Even if like
Have you
if the
ever not
serv-
tipped?
No. Maybe when I
We
was
did
younger, I don't
once.
remember. But
One time.
if the service was absolutely shit, they don't deserve it. I don't care. Like,
Yeah.
me as a server, I'm like, okay, you're always just gonna get 15%. Is like even if you're the shittiest. But
Yeah.
I'm always at least like 20%, just as a server. But if you were shit, like it pains me to give you 50%. Like, you're fine here.
Yeah.
But like sometimes you don't. Some servers, I swear to God, like knowing the way I sound like such a little brat, but the way I like take care of customers, and I see other people, I'm like, you really want me to give you extra like money, like. You want me to give you
Yeah.
like $20 because for what? Like you did the bare minimum
Yeah.
of your job.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
do like an outstanding job. Like anticipate my needs. bring me everything. Don't make me have to ask you for a million things. I understand things get busy, but like, you know, like do what I said. Do like earn your tips. Honestly, like don't just be like it's expected. I hate that. I hate servers who come in. We get a lot of young girls who come in because they think, oh, serve me, like you make good money, which is true, but they just walk to a table, like write it down, walk back. You never see them. Oh, they didn't
like,
tip. Well, what do you think? Like you don't deserve. Like, you don't deserve 20% for doing nothing. I'm sorry, you don't.
You have to come over like 1 or 2 minutes after you've delivered the food just to check to see if the food is as it expected, if there's anything wrong, and then you also have to like just fill up the water bottles, and you do that, and I'm happy. Pretty much. But we had one time when we were in San Francisco.
Yeah, that was brutal.
Worst restaurant experience ever, where we actually were like, we didn't leave a tip.
Honestly, I wouldn't be mad at you if it was literally shit service and it wasn't even like. Sometimes I get it, it's super busy and you're in the weeds and
it wasn't even
like
busy.
If it's not, then they're just shit and they don't care and they just.
It was like
I think they were like.
It was they
were just rude.
They were rude. Yeah, it was the worst experience ever. Like it was this weird restaurant where like the pizza kitchen was separate from the normal kitchen, but they don't tell you that. They're not like, oh, you order pizza and you order that. Hey, just let you know, like the pizza's gonna go out a little bit faster, so you probably get that before steak. They didn't let us know. Teresa was done her pizza the time that my steak came. They never filled up our water once. The hostess was standing directly behind Teresa, like closer than we are right now, behind Teresa's chair the whole time, like staring at me, like with her iPad, like where she puts the tables. But like there's a podium over there where you could be, but you're hanging on this ledge behind us. And then like near the end, we asked for French fries and we never got them. And then when we asked, we're like, hey, we just want to check in with the French fries. Like, are those coming? Yeah. And then 2 minutes later, they're like, here's your check.
No, I would have been like, fuck you.
And the food was terrible.
Yeah.
No, that's...
I had bad vibes the whole time. I was like fuming. And Trish was like, it's not that bad. And then like 10 minutes later, she's like, I don't even want to leave a tip. And I'm like, no, fuck yeah.
Seriously, place like people like that, service like that, no.
Yeah.
Like, tip, I feel like it is earned. Like, I know a lot of servers will be like, no, like, you have to tip. Like, but like, no, earn it. Don't just do nothing and think people are going to give you their hard-earned money. Like, you know? No, sorry, I'm like a firm believer in that. Some servers will disagree, but I'm sorry.
Okay, I got one more question before we get back into a story. How do you feel about tipping outside of restaurants? Like, how do you feel like you go to the C&E or you go to like a food truck or like an ice cream truck or you go to buy some weed at the weed store, or you go to Tim Hortons or Starbucks and they're asking you to tip?
I feel like nowadays it's getting out of hand. Honestly, even as a server, it's way out of hand. Like, I do tip a lot of service industry, like places. Yeah. Depends, like my nail lady.
Yes.
Tip, like all the services,
I tip my hairdresser.
Of course, always. I am. This like Starbucks and stuff is just getting. I understand.
Yeah.
I see them saying like we're providing a service too, but it's so different. Like serving a table or someone providing you like my nail lady who does 2 hours of work.
Yeah, way different.
It's like, yeah, here you deserve a little. You know, who am I to say that? Yeah, a McDonald's worker doesn't deserve it, but it's like. I don't know. It's so different. But it's getting crazy now. Literally, I see all the memes online.
Well, also, they're not getting paid a server's wage.
Yeah.
Like, server's wage is a little bit less, right?
Not anymore.
Oh, no?
No, it's the same.
Not in Ontario, right?
I know in the States, like, servers, it's like, you like make $3 an hour or something for server's wage.
And that's why I love when we have Americans come in. Because they really tip. They always tip on the machine. They give me extra, like, US dollars. Americans are the best. I think because their tipping culture is so different. Yeah. They're very, like, you need to tip.
Europeans probably love North Americans. Because when we were in Italy, we tipped every single place we went to.
They're like, what is this? No. Yeah.
The machines don't even have an option for it. Every tip we had to leave was cash.
Yeah. Well, a lot of places now, I know even, like, when I go to Colombia or when I was in Mexico City, they ask, like, they ask you before you even go, like, can we add service? Like, you know, includes, and I'm like, yeah, of course. Like, in Colombia they asked, in Mexico City they've asked, so it's like, sometimes maybe now it's like a new thing for them, but yes, but yeah. Anyways, I just think a lot of the tipping is getting out of hand.